Low quality trite garbage. That's the perfect camera for it.
Are we rolling? You can check out. No, I'm here right now with Doublelift during week 2 of the LCS with coverage brought to you by Alienware to talk a little bit about TL's rough start to the season. Is that a good way of describing it?
Yeah, it's been pretty rough. What can we say? Unlucky. Broxavisa. Yada yada.
Okay, Visa yada yada feels like the Team Liquid motto right now. Is that actually how you guys are positioning this? Like, Visa yada yada.
Well, I mean, I think everyone knows that jungle is either the most impactful or the second most impactful role on a team, and then Broxa is, was supposed to be a huge part of the team. I think it's no slight at Churnfire. He's like a developing player. You know, he's a player with like a lot of room to grow. But like Brox is somebody who is really experienced, has a ton of game knowledge from, making finals of Worlds and being really successful in Europe, and then also just constantly playing against the best players. So I think Broxa would be able to, improve our team a ton. But then also, I think there's just like kind of the mental aspect of we don't have our full roster, so practice can be a bit like less motivating or like just like less intense, I guess, because it feels like, we're still in a way we're waiting for our team to like become online.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like all these things combined, and also the fact that like overall I would say like I'm not playing super great. I'm just playing fine. We lost both our games on Senna, who's a bit of a dog champ, so I think maybe in the future we just kind of like put more cards into the like bot lane basket. But then again, that feels like, first off, the meta is literally like Senna's in every single game. She's obviously strong. I think there's no denying it. But the champ doesn't do anything by herself. You just kind of help your teammates win a little harder by healing them and shielding them and shit. So like it just goes completely against what Team Liquid's playstyle has been for so long, which is like bot lane just carries the game almost always. Like that's just how we win. And like I don't want to be the exact same Team Liquid that we've always been. I think in order to like change our playstyle drastically, we have to really be able to go through losses in LCS, I would say. Like really be able to learn from failure. Also, Spring Split's fucking useless, as everyone knows. So if there was a time for us to like improve, yeah, everyone says like, oh, regular season, you're supposed to be practicing for like playoffs, like to prep for playoffs. But even now, like it's like twice as true as before, because just the way that the Spring Split and LCS is set up now, they basically just removed all meaning from spring early season. So I'm like pretty excited to, I guess like figure out the like problem solve this whole thing with Team Liquid, like the way that we've been playing and how it hasn't worked, and then maybe just like integrating more stuff into like the best teams in the world, right? They play way different than us, way different than us. We have to kind of like take elements of that.
Well, I feel like I've been interviewing you for so many years, and you always say it's like a Doublelift team conundrum, which is like, I feel like I could go back and find CLG interviews where you're like, we always play through bot lane. I don't want it to just be that way. I want it to be these other things. I think TSM, maybe you had like Soren helping out a little bit more. Maybe it's the only time. But for the most part, this has always been the problem you've had in the LCS. Do you think you can overcome it? Or is this just kind of like the curse that you have to keep living with? What are you distracted by right now?
Sorry, nothing. I have no idea.
You're just staring.
I'm just zoning out. So
do you know what the question was?
Yeah, no, I got it. I was actually listening to your question while zoning out, like in a way. The answer is, I think naturally when I join a team, my playstyle is extremely greedy. Like I think there's no really other way to put it. I'm really good at getting a lot of resources and playing an aggressive 80 carry pick and winning the game. And then my team becomes used to that from the very start. But that doesn't mean that like I don't want to be able to play the other way, because the other way is actually way easier. Literally, like you could just say like, I mean, how fucking hard is it to play Varus and like just sit in the back, shoot the closest target and press your ult once in a while? It's actually like really brainless compared to and playing Senna and doing the same thing. It's like it's so much easier to do that than to play like the hard carry style where if you make one mistake you're just insta dead. Like if you get out farmed by the enemy to carry, you're a bit useless. So yeah, like I would love to be able to play that style. The conundrum that always happens where like my team is just way better at playing one style than the other. So we go on stage, it's like, okay, well, what's like the best way for us to win today? I mean, just fucking pick Zaya or Aphelios or something, and just like, like we're gonna be better at it. And then it just kind of snowballs into like, oh well, this is like the style that works for us. This is the style that we win LCS with, and then we're gonna take that and like literally just play the same way at Worlds. And I don't even think like honestly like the last Worlds and last MSI, I don't think I played bad at all. I think I had some games where I played bad, right? But like I think just having a one-dimensional style, especially in the draft, just sets you up for failure. So yeah, like I guess it's just hard. It's fucking hard to fix the problem. I think we can win LCS easily again by just sticking to our guns and having our full roster, but I don't know if that's going to help.
You mentioned that you don't feel like you've been playing well the past couple of weeks. Do you know why?
Well, okay, actually, I'm gonna rephrase that. I don't think I'm playing bad. I've just been playing Senna, and the champ is just so incredibly boring. Like I truly was falling asleep mid game yesterday against Dig, and I'm like on stage. It's when your adrenaline's going and stuff. I am absolutely bored out of my mind. This champ should not be the way that it is. Zero skill, fucking sit in the back. You don't do anything. Like the champ, there's like no mechanics. No one in the world is ever gonna say, "Well, Senna's such a hard champ to play." Like no, it's actually so easy. A bot could do my job. Like there's always some parts of it that are hard, like timing your ult with your solo laners, like knowing when to press E, obviously hitting your Q and W. But actually, the champ is incredibly boring and like I don't get to do much. I don't get to have a lot of initiative. I think I had a lot more impact in my Zven and Aphelios games in LCS. Those are the games that we won anyways. So maybe that's like a confirmation bias in a way, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just haven't like been having a big impact on their games, I guess, at least half of the games. So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think I'm in bad form though. Like when we scrim and stuff, I feel like I'm better than every 80 that we face. Oh, except I think Zven is really good. I think Zven is actually maybe the best I've ever seen him, in the best form I've ever seen him in LCS.
What do you think caused that? Because Cloud9 likes to meme on TSM and call them the talent suppression machine. So it's interesting that now sort of the prophecy is being fulfilled.
I don't think TSM suppressed Sven's talent, but I think he was playing maybe with supports that weren't in their best form. So he was playing with Mythy towards the end of his pro player career, and he was playing with Smoothie, not in Smoothie's greatest form. I have to say. So everyone says bot a support gap. And I think I always said Zven was really good. I think I would rank Zven high up there with Sneaky, and they're both just getting really sandbagged by the supports, unfortunately. I don't think people really truly understood what Zeyzal was doing to Sneaky's laning phase last year. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. And then I would say I think Zven maybe with Vulcan, who's top tier support right now, he has like maybe more motivation and less of the mental block from being on TSM. Yeah. Support gap. It's real.
Gotcha. So it's just the other ADCs have just been being held back by their supports.
No. When I play against those players, I'm like, wow, Sneaky and Zven, these guys are good. They know what they're doing. Like I'm impressed a lot of the time. Not a lot of the time. I'm impressed once in a while. And then, but like when I play against other ADs, I'm like, nah, this is AD gap actually. like this is. Even if your support was as good as core, you guys would still lose lanes. So I think then that feels a bit bad for them.
You said you were falling asleep on stage yesterday. Have you considered drinking a Monster beforehand?
Oh, dude. No, I should have chugged a few. My bad.
A few?
No, actually, that's not recommended. I should have chugged one.
Okay. Hey, you were talking about Senna today. You got to play Aphelios. What do you think of Aphelios?
I think Aphelios, first off, I think it's absolutely embarrassing that half the people in LCS right now still don't know what Aphelios does. Like, it's literally your job. You spend 10 hours a day. You can't take the time to figure out what this champion does. It's absolutely, like, hysterically just pathetic. So, like, today, Viper didn't know what my champ did, and he tried to go for 1v1. Like, really? Like how? Like, I don't understand. So, yeah, the champ is really strong. I think him and Senna are obviously the top 2 meta picks. Everyone plays this matchup. The matchup is very, like, solved, I would say. Very, very solved. I think Aphelios is a harder carry champ than Senna, but if you make one mistake, you can become useless. It's one of those champs that has no utility. the only thing you provide for your team is damage. That's it. So if you play it really well, you might be able to hard carry the game. If you get hit by one skill shot, if you fall behind in lane, you might become like irrelevant. So I think the champ's good though overall, and I really enjoy playing him because he's got a lot of things in his kit. It's good.
Hey, I need to ask you about something which I know you tend to usually meme on, but I know that the community is starting to be like, yo, what the hell? And I saw Cutie Pie tweet you about it too when you were talking about the streaming situation. But the Players Association. So you tweeted recently like, yo, this is a very serious meeting, everyone should go. And then you were talking about the streaming thing, and like Cutie Pie linked you the Players Association Twitter.
Yeah.
People on Reddit are starting to say like these guys should do something. I'm curious if you clearly you were at least at one of the meetings recently because you were telling people to go to it. Is there hope for the Players Association? Is this thing going to become something at some point in time?
I mean, I hope so. I don't think the Playstyle Association has done very much important things in the last 2 years that I've been able to be a part of. But, like, I just have been a little bit more involved with it recently, and I gotta say that I am advocating for a lot of changes for the Playstyle Association, and some of the things that we should be doing that we should have been doing for the last 2 years. I'm gonna start making sure that those things get done. So I'm a busy person, you know. I'm on what most people believe to be the strongest team. I have a shit ton of like sponsor stuff and obligations, but I will carve out a little bit of my time to make sure the Play Association is actually useful this year. And yeah, it was really important that everyone attend the meeting. I think I can just honestly say some of the things that we had been talked about in the meeting for the public to hear about. One of them is everyone should have access to a better practice tool. At the moment, practice tool is 1v0 against bots. Why can't it be 2v0 against bots so you can practice combos with your teammates? Why can't it be 1v1 so you can practice certain 1v1 matchups and reset the lane? Why can't it be 5v5 and everyone set up a scenario? A certain amount of gold, everyone's a certain level, you demolish certain towers or something, and you play that out a million times over and over again. The way that scrims go at the moment is so inefficient. You essentially get one scrim in per hour. Well, what if in an hour you could do 20 team fights? Like what if you could play a matchup like 50 times in an hour instead of wait for the next game to start and do the same matchup. So like, yeah, practice tool could be something that would be like hugely helpful and make our practice time way more efficient. Obviously, there's like some technical limitations that like Riot has been talking to me about, but like, I don't really see why this can't get done. There's also like a million other issues such as low ping solo queue. I don't really know if I should let me think about if I should talk about this publicly or not.
I think you should.
You think I should?
Yeah.
Because this is on your YouTube channel, you dumbass.
How dare you imply that I would impugn my own integrity and yours in the attempt to get a better YouTube video on my channel?
I don't really see any problem in the public hearing about ideas that are being thrown around, at least.
Yeah.
It's just an idea. So Lena had this idea, actually, and then I brought it to the Players Association, and everyone within the meeting said, wow, that's a great idea. Nobody said anything else other than, that's a really fucking good idea. So the idea is when you get into a lobby in solo queue, there are 10 players, obviously, and every player is from a different part of America. Or wherever, every different part of the world, I guess. The server should be created where the majority of the players are, or like at a middle point. So, for example, if like 6 or 7 of the people are living on West Coast, it should just be created on West Coast. All that needs to happen is they need to get a server or rent a server from like Amazon or one of the many servers that exist to host it, to host the lobby, to host the game. And obviously this is gonna be like, oh well, like what if it's like majority are on East Coast and it's get created on East Coast. I don't really understand like why that couldn't be a reality for low ping solo queue. So there have been solo queue games I've been in where there's 10 pro players. We all live in the exact same city in Los Angeles. Why is the game being hosted in Chicago? It would make so much more sense if the game was hosted in LA, right? And then so there would be a percentage of your games that like would end up being hosted in Central or East Coast, sure, but majority would actually be in high elo. Everyone lives over here. And low ping solo queue has been something that like it's every pro player's number one problem. Like when we talk to pro players, everyone thinks that this is a problem, but it's like unsolvable, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, all Helena for having this great idea. I think talking to Riot about it, getting things done is actually like It's just so troll, honestly. It feels so troll, like when you talk to people about it. But this is probably for me like the number one thing, and I don't think it's gonna get done anytime soon, unfortunately. But I think this idea is something that CS:GO implements with their lobbies when they're matchmaking. It's an idea that like tons of games have. I don't really feel that there's an excuse for Riot not to be able to do this.
Very good. So you anticipate the Players Association being able to make changes and move in certain directions this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one thing is like, how strongly does every player in the LCS feel about the Player Association? The answer is they don't. No pro players even thinks about the Player Association more than like once every like 6 months, right? But I want to change that to be like, what is the Player Association? This is like, these are the guys that got my back. They want something that's really important to me. If my solo queue is lower paying and is more enjoyable, I have more fun on my job, I'm better at the game, my practice is way more efficient, I'm not wasting time playing on 70 ping on champs that like are completely different on 10 ping. And so this is like something where like I think as soon as we start doing stuff, people will actually think like, oh, this is a like body or like a unit that's like really helping me with my job. And that feels good. So I don't know. It was just like I feel like it will snowball a lot when we actually start moving things around or like getting things done. So yeah, I'm working on it. And not just me, by the way. The whole body is like Darshan.
You Doublelift personally.
No, yeah, sorry. We're a collective unit, and then there's the 5 executive committee.
Yeah. Who's the 5 executive committee?
Darshan, Bjergsen, Biofrost, Golden Glue, me.
Nice. Well, this interview's gone on for a very long time.
I know, it's fucking long.
Yeah. Are we going to be able to hang out anytime soon?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What are you doing after this?
Nothing. Well, I mean, I have to do the next 3 games, but I'm free after that.
Ooh, no one cares about LCS, bro. Let's go.
And that's the vice president of the Players Association right now. You can check out the rest of my stuff. No, what do you want to say?
Down with the Good Green Initiative. I'm trolling. Not much. Just thanks for, if you actually made it this far in this interview, you have probably watched a million one of these fucking interviews with me and Travis. Let's be honest here. And I don't know how the fuck you made it this far, this long. Thank you.
You can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Listen, there are a lot of uncertainties for this year. Who's going to make it to international events from NA is one of them. But I can already tell you who's going to make it, at least in one situation, which is me. I'm going to be going to international events this year. I'm doing all this cool coverage. You can and all that, by the way, is because my sponsors, my partners, Movement, Alienware. Alienware, they make great machines. There's a description in the there's a link in the video description. Sorry, it's been a long opening week. Below, you could go check out the stuff that they make. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much to Alienware for supporting what we do, and thank you for watching this. Be sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 200K this year. Maybe even sooner than that. We'll figure it out.